Chris Mannix, senior NBA writer for Sports Illustrated. He was there in the Garden last night. Joins us on the program. When did you realize the game was over last night?
First quarter.
Oh,
First quarter. I expected the Celtics to come out with a lot of energy in this game, and they did. But how the Warriors responded in that first quarter told me everything about this game. They were down 12 points at one point in the first. The crowd was into it. And then over like a 3-minute stretch, the Warriors erased that lead and went into the second quarter with a 5-point lead that they would never surrender. So I knew then that, they had taken the Celtics' best punch. They had punched back. Steph Curry was playing great. You just knew right then and there this was going to be a tough night for Boston.
Well, I wondered, the Celtics didn't play well, but how much of a role did the Warriors play in the Celtics not playing well at home?
They played a big role because defensively, Golden State's not as good as Boston, but they are tighter defensively than Boston, if that makes any sense. Like they don't make a lot of mistakes out there defensively. They're disciplined on that end. They make their rotations right every single time. And Boston just couldn't find a way to break through, especially Jason Tatum, who was, had his worst game, I think, or one of his worst games of this series in Game 6. They just weren't able to break that defense because Golden State doesn't make mistakes. Now, the Celtics make a lot of mistakes, and they did all series long. I said going into Game 6, Dan, the Celtics would win as long as they didn't turn the ball over at a crazy level. What did they do? Turn the ball over at a crazy level. 23 total turnovers in this game for Boston. That was a series high for them. And they're throwing the ball over the gym. They're dribbling into traffic. They're committing offensive fouls. It just, Golden State beat them. But by some measure, Boston beat itself with the way it played offensively.
The perception of Jason Tatum today is what?
I think if Jason Tatum had played in this series as he played in previous series, we would be talking definitively of Jason Tatum as like a top 5 guy. Like we would be looking at him as the heir to Kevin Durant. Now, because he looked overwhelmed by the moment and because he couldn't unlock Andrew Wiggins and that Warriors defense, you're saying, all right, he's still a cut below those top tier guys. I mean, this was the best season of Tatum's career. All NBA first team, top 6 in MVP balloting. But after watching these finals, he's got a ways to go, or at least a little ways to go before he cracks into that top 5, 6 players in the NBA.
Yeah, he needs to develop his game. He needs to make better decisions. He needs to not settle for threes. Watching Jordan and Kobe develop a post game, I think that would be really beneficial for him. I know we keep saying he's only 24, but he's got a lot of NBA experience for somebody who's only 24. The perception of Steph Curry today is what?
I think you have to look at Steph Curry as a top 10 player all time. And I think that's because of the outcome of this series. Andre Iguodala said something at the press conference last night that was kind of a throwaway line in the moment. He called Steph the best point guard of all time. And that, as you think about it in hindsight, you're like, all right, you're saying Steph's better than Magic, but then you kind of sort of stack them up and you can make a legitimate argument.
But he's not a point guard.
He is a point guard.
No, he's not.
He's a different point guard.
No, he's a points guard. Magic's a point guard. Steph's a points guard. He scores.
All right. So does
Luka is more of a point guard than Steph is.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know what the assist numbers are. Like, look, he plays the position. Like, he is their starting point guard. Like that, and he's been their starting point guard.
So is LeBron. LeBron is a better point guard.
No, LeBron's played with point guards. Like he's played with point guards many times this career. He won a championship with Kyrie Irving as his point guard. Like,
no, Kyrie wasn't his point guard. Kyrie was a shooting guard.
Kyrie was the point guard.
No, he was not.
Okay, but all right. Well, look, history's going to record Steph Curry as a point guard. It's going to say Steph Curry point guard, Magic Johnson point guard. Is Steph Curry better than Magic Johnson? I don't know the answer to that question, but I think after this series, he can make a reasonable argument for that. He can make a reasonable argument to be called top 10 of all time. Look, Dan.
Okay, but who are you taking out of the top 10? Like we tend to cram in 15 into the top 10.
I agree. I don't have my list in front of me. I think there's now a strong debate about Steph Curry.
Paulie, give us the top 10. And all right,
here's a quick consensus: Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell,
Larry Bird,
Tim Duncan, Oscar Robertson, Kobe Bryant.
You got Shaq.
And then we're on to guys like Durant, Olajuwon, Julius Erving.
Okay, who's coming in?
I think at some point you can have the Tim Duncan, Kobe, Oscar Robertson conversation with Steph Curry being in that mix.
You think Steph is better than Kobe?
Better. I don't know if better is the right way to put it, but he's as accomplished at this point. He's got 4 championships now on his resume. Like, he's done it. Like, he's been successful. He's a 2-time MVP. And this series was won because of him. Like, he had 34 points in game 4, where the Warriors, if they'd lost, they'd be done. Last night, going into the fourth quarter, Celtics made a run there at the end of the third. They were within 10 points within the third. Steph Curry went out and had 13 points in the fourth quarter to seal that game. So, like, he's doing all the things people questioned that he could do. Put a team on his back, be the lead player on a championship level team. Like, he's doing it. So, yeah, like the 3 guys you mentioned in the back then, Duncan, Kobe, Oscar Robertson, I would now say Steph Curry belongs in that conversation at the very least.
Okay. You're not getting an argument from me. I think I'm
getting a strong argument from you, Dan. I'm getting strong vibes here.
No, it's strong vibes you're getting. But yeah. What's the window for Golden State to continue this?
It's honestly like, I was talking about this with somebody last night. It could be like 7 years if you look at what they have on that roster. They've basically got the Oklahoma City Thunder on the back of that bench. Like, you've got 2 teenagers who were lottery picks in Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga. You get James Wiseman, who hasn't played in a year. Like, those 3 players would make up the core of a rebuilding team that would be thrilled to have all 3 of them. I think Steph Curry is going to age really well. He's shown that the last couple of years. I think Klay Thompson comes back next year, a better version of himself than he was this year. And Draymond's still going to be Draymond. He's not going to be a great 3-point shooter, though he shot the ball well last night. But he's going to be able to be a high-level glue guy defensive player for years to come. And as they regress slowly, theoretically, these young guys who have loads of talent are going to progress to the point where next year, you can certainly say Kuminga, who played well in spurts during the regular season, could be ready for a meaningful role. Andrew Wiggins is just 27 years old. Like, he just turned 27 in February.
Why are you yelling at me? Why are you yelling?
Because, I don't know. You got me going early in the morning with this whole, he's not a point guard. He's not top 10. Like, you kind of got me going there a little bit with that. So
Plus, your Celtics lost, and that hurts too.
I don't care. I'm not on a plane to San Francisco right now, Dan. That's what matters. Okay, that's the most important thing in this conversation. But to the point, Kuminga, Moody, Wiseman, if they develop next year, if Wiseman can get back on the court, this window is like 5+ years, because those guys theoretically should be that good to be able to supplement that roster.
Keep your head up.
Heads all the way up, Dan, until it goes down.
All right. The off-season story to keep an eye on, number one off-season story is what?
I would call it a co-number one for me. It's Bradley Beal. Does he re-sign with Washington? Is there a sign-and-trade scenario in the mix there? And Damian Lillard, what happens in Portland? If they strike out in free agency, I can't imagine Lillard's going to be all that happy about coming back. Those are 2 guys that can kind of change, if they're traded, can change the dynamic of the league. Like, going into next season, Golden State probably going to be right back there again. You see the hierarchy in the Western Conference. In the East, Boston, I don't think the Celtics need many changes to that team. They go 8-9 deep with really good guys, and the experience they got from this finals appearance is going to benefit them for next year. But Lillard, Beal, if they get moved, they can really shake up the power rankings from either conference.
And Zion, that extension, is that going to happen?
Yeah, it just seems and I haven't checked in a couple of weeks now, but it just seems like the only question there is going to be what kind of protections Zion is okay with. You remember the Joel Embiid contract? He signed a deal with a lot of protections after that first rookie deal expired. I would imagine, and I believe this to be true, that New Orleans is going to structure a max level extension similar to what Joel Embiid got. And as long as Zion is okay with it, and I think he will be, because he's going to want to protect himself with guaranteed money for the foreseeable future. I think a deal with Zion gets done in New Orleans.
Steph Curry is not a point guard.
Okay. Well, what is he? You want to reclassify him?
I did. I just told you he's a points guard.
Okay. But that's not something that is on the official NBA register, a points guard. It's not forward, center, guard, points guard.
No.
Guard.
No. We don't have positions. It's positionless. The commissioner has already said it's positionless.
Okay. So when did point guard stop? Like, when did that stop being a thing? Like, after John Stockton retired?
Pretty much.
Okay. So
pretty much.
Nobody's a point guard. Is Chris Paul a point guard?
Yeah. He's the
okay, so
he's
continues
and
through
Rondo.
Chris Paul.
Yeah.
And Rondo. Okay. Put them in the same conversation.
Chris Paul is a dinosaur. He's a throwback player. Yes.
Okay. Is LaMelo Ball a point guard? Does it continue with him?
I would say he's close to being a point guard. I don't know if he wants to be a point guard. And Lonzo is more of a point guard. But there's
Lonzo,
not.
Yeah.
You can't be a point guard and you don't even lead your team in assists.
Okay, but Magic was different than Bob Cousy. Steph Curry is different than Magic. Like, players evolve over time. The game changes. But
if you're known for your passing more than your shooting, then you're a point guard. With the definition of a point guard, like a power forward. Okay.
I don't know.
Do you have to be a certain size?
Like, I know what it was.
Okay, but do you have to be a certain size to be a power forward?
No. Well, you used to.
Okay,
20
exactly.
years ago you did.
But that's same with.
But the game
point
changes.
Guard.
Like, I don't think positions change. The game changed. Like, what's a center now? A center is now your point guard. At least in Denver, it is.
Yeah.
Like, the game changes. These players evolve. I don't think you should change the definition of the position because the player changes and the game changes. I think that's who you are. Joel Embiid still a center. Steph Curry still a point guard.
No, they're just basketball players. That's all. Don't have labels on people.
I try not to label people.
Don't label. Thank you, Chris.
You got it, Dan.
Chris Mannix. I don't know what we accomplished there, but he got all riled up. He's short on sleep. His Celtics lost.